Let's see what else we got in the chat. Let's see what's in here. RJ, do you think Michigan can sneak into the playoff spot because they are going to have the opportunities to impress the playoff committee with wins because of the teams on their schedule? They'd have to beat USC like they stole something, and USC would need to be undefeated in the plane because this game against Texas is going to weigh so much, both for Texas and for Michigan. They weren't in that game. They were never in that game. So what you would have to see if you are the playoff committee or you're ranking teams like me is remarkable improvement against ranked opponents. That's the key. Against ranked opponents. I don't care what you do against Arkansas State next week. I only care if the game is close. Just like I cared about Fresno State that the game was close. Michigan doesn't really have room for error on this, but they can still make the playoff as perhaps the third best Big Ten team. And the third best Big Ten team, I think, is going to get into the playoff. I do. They're just not going to host, right? So if you are in that 5 to 8 spot, I think those are going to be the coolest positions to have in 2024 because those are going to be the teams that get the home games. Remember, yeah, the top 4 ranked conference champions, they get buys, but they're playing at neutral sites. I tend to think that the cool part about the 2024 thing is nobody's played a playoff game at home ever in our sport, and that is just going to make that environment so ridiculously hard to play in if you're the away team. So if you're Michigan and you're not one of those 5 to 8, you got a problem. You know, you're going to have to go into places like Notre Dame, for instance, and play a number 5 Notre Dame on the road for a shot. So would you get into the tournament? Yeah. Would I give you the opportunity to win the tournament? Yeah. Do I think you're going to win the tournament? Absolutely not. No, I don't think that's the thing. We haven't talked about this because we haven't got this far down the road. But assume that you are one of these programs that are in the 9 to 12 range, right? You're one of the lowest ranked teams in the playoff. What are the odds that you're going to run the table? I think they're on the floor. And I think they're on the floor precisely because you have to play on the road to start. And then you have to go to a neutral site game against a team that's already had a week off and is preparing for this bowl game given that time. And then you'd have to win that playoff game to get to the national championship on January 20th. And by that time, we're talking about playing 17, 18 games here. You know, that's just a lot. And we're already looking at these, asking questions like, hey, do you have the depth to continue to play at this level? And that's the other thing that Michigan would have to answer. Do they have the depth to play at this level? I don't know that they do, especially if you don't get much out of Donovan Edwards, you know? And, yeah, now the game is over. Now it's over. Oklahoma State has won 31-39. My goodness, did I want Arkansas to win this game. I mean, y'all know this. Like, I root for Arkansas most of the time. It's not hard for me to root against Oklahoma State, but that's a good football team. That's a good football team. Brendan Presley was coming up with play after play after play, and despite outgaining, I'm sure they did, outgaining Oklahoma State in this game and looking like the better team in the first half, they just could not hold on. It's almost like they flew too close to the sun. Taylen Green, 26-45 for 416 and a TD. That's pretty damn good. 3 sacks, though. Unnecessary. Quentin Jackson put the ball on the floor twice. Still had 24 for 149, 3 TDs. It's a good football team. My goodness. Andrew Armstrong had himself a day. 10 for 164. Outstanding for him. You just can't turn the ball over like they did and expect to win the football game. Arkansas turned the ball over 3 times in this game, despite putting up 648 yards of offense. Held Oklahoma State to 5 of 16 on 3rd down. Held Ollie Gordon basically in check. 17 rushed 49 yards. If you'd have told me that Ollie Gordon was going to rush 17 times 49 yards against Arkansas, I would have told you Oklahoma State would have won or would have lost that football game. Alan Bowman did not look great. 27 of 48, 326. I mean, Brendan Presley was really the guy. 9 for 91 and a TD. Rashad Owens came up big, 5 for 64. But this game was more about how Arkansas lost it than it was how Oklahoma State won it. Oklahoma State's going to get to stay in the top 25, but by the skin of their teeth, because this was not supposed to be an Arkansas team that was supposed to push them, right? This was not supposed to be an Arkansas team that was up 21-7. And I'm telling you, man, if Arkansas had been able to extend that lead to 28-0 or 21-0 instead of 14-7, we might be talking about a different outcome to this game. and you got to get back on the bus to Fayetteville, and you're going to go, what if, putting the ball on the floor, putting the ball in a spot where you shouldn't, giving the ball back to Oklahoma State when you shouldn't, and Oklahoma State doing their part to capitalize. I mean, getting those points off of turnovers was huge. Getting mostly stymied, if you're Arkansas, in the second half was, you couldn't have saw that coming. The way that they were moving the ball up and down. Taylen Green's got to make better decisions. And if anything, I thought the Arkansas defense showed what it was made of. I know Travis Williams was getting his behind chewed going into this one because he likes to run a lot of cover zero. He likes to run a lot of man, especially on third down, when you should probably just stand back there and let them come to you and tackle what's in front of you. Arkansas is going to win more football games than they lose this year. That's what I learned today. I learned Arkansas is going to be as tough as any team in the SEC. And if Texas doesn't see them coming in November, they should. Arkansas is going to be that team that I think is going to mess up a lot of seasons that would otherwise go well for some SEC opponents. Like they got UAB and then Auburn, A&M, Tennessee, LSU, Mississippi State, Ole Miss, Texas, La Tech, and Missouri. I think either they're going to run through that schedule because Oklahoma State is a good football team. It's a very good football team. They just didn't play like one today. You beat Auburn, you beat A&M, and then you're in the ball game, right? Because depending on what we see from Tennessee against Oklahoma, we'll know what we can expect Arkansas to do. And that game is at Fayetteville. You know, that's, man, I was so ready to call the Hogs today, too. You know what I'm saying? You know how much I love Sam Pittman. He from Grove, from around the way. And him getting to Arkansas really changed his life. He has wanted that job in the worst way. And you know he wants that job in the worst way because he hired Bobby Petrino to be his offensive coordinator, who was the guy that was the head coach at Arkansas the last time Arkansas was really, 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 really good. And he's unafraid. He just wants to win football games, and I respect that. It's gonna be hard to go into that post-game presser and have nice things to say because you know you should have won this game. You know that Taylen Green makes one or two better decisions. You're just in a better spot, man. You're in a better spot. You know that if Jaquindon Jackson doesn't put the ball on the floor, you're walking away with wins. You know, you are 2-0. Instead, you just get to be a really tough opponent on Oklahoma State's resume now as Oklahoma State's trying to make the playoff for the first time. That team, alongside Kansas State, Arizona, those three right now feel like the class of the Big 12. We'll see what Iowa State can do against Iowa. They get a win. They get to join this conversation. But right now, I think you're really talking about those three teams. And Arizona is going to give you the what, for, and how now if you're Kansas State on Friday. So we'll get to find out quick, fast, and in a hurry what they are made of. But we learned what Oklahoma State is made of. We learned that they can win a nasty, ugly game, again, against an Arkansas football team that is very, very good. They just aren't mature enough to finish. Like, they're really good. They got to learn to finish. Golly, I hate that for them. Because on any other day, Arkansas might win that game. If that game was in Fayetteville and not in Stillwater, they might win that game. Paddle people, take the win. Y'all were the 12th man today. I heard it. I could hear it on the broadcast. It was loud. You know, and Oklahoma State really wanted to win that football game. I think that you deserve the win based entirely on you didn't quit and you kept coming back to fight. I thought that at one point Oklahoma State could have folded, but they didn't. They didn't fold. Doesn't matter that they gave up 416 pass yards, 648 yards total offense. It mattered that they got 3 turnovers, and when it went into overtime, they could go get 6 because they had 0 in the backfield. And that's what it took. 0 in the backfield, man. Ollie Gordon, the Doak Walker Award winner, did not look like him for most of the day until it was winning time. And I count winning time. Winning time is always going to be an enormously big deal to me. I'm always going to think of winning time as the period for which big players have to step up and big players have to make great plays. Ollie Gordon played crappy and really didn't get handed the ball for most of the game. And when it came time to make a big play, he made one, man. He made one. That's what you asked that dude to do. That's what the NIL money is for. That is why you are the Doak Walker Award winner. Now you just need to get back into your rhythm because the slow starting from Ollie Gordon is just, it needs to stop. He did it last year and then came on in October and November. We need to see this from him the rest of the way. You know, these first 2 weeks, put those in a hamper somewhere. You know, South Dakota State, you gave up too many yards. You let them back into a ball game, but it was never really in question. This game, you're showing your weaknesses. People now know what to do to stymie you. They know that if Brennan Presley gets loose, okay, that's just going to happen. But they know they can stop Ollie Gordon. They know how they can stop Ollie Gordon. They're watching tape on you. Casey Dunn's going to have to figure this out. I think, man, if nothing else, Travis Williams, man, it's just so hard to give Arkansas's defense the credit that it deserves because they gave up 39 today in double OT. But I thought they did an outstanding job, man. I really did, especially on third down, which is a down that they would traditionally lose. They were able to give Bobby Petrino the ball back. They were able to give Taylen Green the ball back, and they were able to allow their offense every opportunity to try to win the game. It just didn't go their way. All right, let's watch the rest of the afternoon slate, and we'll be back here late tonight to cap it all off, see what we can come up with. Thanks, y'all, for joining me. This is fun. This is